Hi knitters, welcome to episode 119 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I'm your host, Devin Ventry. You can find me on Instagram as Knitty McPurly. My website is KnittyMcPurly.com, and if you want to email me, I am Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com. If you would like to subscribe and thumbs me up, that would be amazing. Thank you. How are you guys today? It is Sunday, it is cold, it is daylight savings time, right? So I don't know about you, but I had to get up crazy early this morning. We really were debating, like, are we gonna get up at 0:30, as my mom likes to say, and go to mass at super early? And we did. So, and now I'm glad because we got a jump start on the day and it's only 9:30. Woohoo! So, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you have your knitting, got my tea. I'm gonna be talking about some of the stuff that I'm wearing. But for now, we're moving towards porch knitting, and that's kind of what I've got my sights set on right now, is porch knitting. Because, you know, you've got to love the winter where you get to knit inside and look at the cold outside. But as the spring comes on and the summer, if you're like me and you're gonna knit all summer for the fall, like summer is like the preseason, right? Where we get all of our sweaters knit so that when the fall comes and all the fiber festivals happen, we have our sweaters ready and we're ready to wear them and ready to go. So that is very exciting. Okay, progress and shop news. I have some big things happening in the shop. I had my color collection go up last week. I had a certain number and those sold out pretty quickly, and many of you pre-ordered. So I've been working on more of these, and I have more of the Frankfurt fingering in stock. So if you want to get those, if you missed out on them last time, you can still get them. And because I had a lot of interest, I went ahead and added the Dubrovnik DK also. So if you wanted to get all of the colors in 20 gram minis, you can get them in either the fingering weight or in the DK. I don't have any of the DK in stock yet because I literally just decided this morning to do that, but I have them as a pre-order and those will ship within the next 2 weeks if you're interested in that. How amazing would a faux set out of that be? You could definitely knit the first couple sizes of a faux set in this yarn in the DK weight, because faux set is a DK weight sweater. But if you needed more yarn for a larger size, you could even just do a full skein of whatever your favorite color is, if you wanted to go that route. And lots of people have. Faux set is a 3-color sweater, but lots of people have used many colors to make it. You can do it however you want. That's like my favorite thing to say. I love personal freedom. So yeah, this has been really awesome. People really like it. They like getting to see all of the colors and put them together and decide what they like, because color is hard. And a lot of people struggle with color. They don't know what to put together. I didn't realize that until I took a color class one time at a knitting retreat, and I was talking to some of the people in the class, and I realized a lot of people just don't know what to put together. And so, and even, you know, when you go to a website or a yarn store and you just see 1 million options, it can be very overwhelming. And so what I wanted was a cast of color characters that all go together. It's kind of like, I remember my brother's wife saying to me one time that my brother just had no ability to put an outfit together. So she just made sure that everything in his closet went together. You know, grab pants, grab a shirt, they'll go. So that's kind of what I designed my colors to do, to all go. They all mix and match together. So anyway, fingering weight, DK weight. If anybody's interested in worsted weight, I could do that too. Let's talk about that. If you're interested, let me know. Another thing that is happening in the shop is, you might notice, my stitch marker necklace. I totally was not planning on wearing this. I was not going to show it this week, but then I put it on with my outfit and I was like, it looks so amazing. So in the past, I've had stitch marker necklaces from the beginning of my website opening. Stitch marker necklaces were just one of the things that I had. And I've always either made them from existing parts or bought them. Like my most recent iteration of stitch marker necklaces were from a made in the USA jewelry company that I would kind of make them work as stitch marker necklaces. And they were very, very pretty, very, very high quality. So anyway, they were very beautiful, very high quality. People really liked them, but I really wanted to design something that was designed by me from the beginning. So you might notice that my necklace kind of goes with my earrings from Grace and Wood. So I said, why don't we do a little collaboration? And I designed this necklace. This one is in silver. And I designed it from ex nihilo. I designed it from nothing. Like I just went through and was like, you know, what do I want? How do I want it to look? And I really wanted a casual look that you could wear with an everyday kind of casual outfit. And so I went with this paperclip style chain and these beautiful wooden circles in 2 different woods hang from these light bulb stitch markers. And I have it on with 3. When these come out, they're gonna come with 7 of the stitch markers on there, and you can have it, you know, wear as many as you want. You can take some off and use them, whatever. That's what they're for. But also, they look amazing. So I wasn't even gonna wear this today because my earrings are gold and I don't have the gold prototype put together yet. This is just the prototype. I've had many different things on there, trying out different things and like, what do I like? And I tried like every possible connector. And then when I found this combination, I was just like, that's it. It's perfect. I'm so happy with it and I'm so proud of it. I'll be talking more about it and I'll have pictures to show you. I don't write yet. Like I said, this is, yeah, I'm just really excited and that's why I'm wearing it and I'm showing it to you. But it's gonna come in silver and gold, and the gold is gonna come in a darker wooden piece here, and both of them will have the stitch markers here. So these will be available at the beginning of April, early April, sometime in there. So sign up for my newsletter. If you don't get my newsletter, go to my website. When you go to the website and you wait like 10 seconds or whatever, it pops up and says, do you wanna subscribe? And you just type in your email address, and then you're subscribed to the newsletter. If you happen to close it and you wish you didn't, there's another little circle tab at the top that you can click to sign up for the newsletter. But newsletter people always shop first. They always get the first pick. So if you're interested in the newsletter, then go sign up there. If you like the stitch marker necklaces, so excited. Okay. Another thing that is starting in April is going to be my monthly color. Another thing that I've been thinking about, these things roll around in my head for a while until they kind of land on their feet. You know, they spin around and either they land on their feet or they just fall off. But this one landed on its feet. And I had been thinking about doing some variety of a monthly color club. And I thought about doing like a 3-month thing, like a sight unseen thing. Because getting back to the colors that go together, my colors are all solids or semi-solid tonals. And I would love to have some variegated, speckly, interesting, different colored yarns that coordinate with these. And so I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do a different one every month? And that way you could see it ahead of time and decide, well, do I want that one? And if I do, then how many do I want? Because you might say, I love that. I need 5 of them. And if it was a monthly color club kind of thing, you would only get the one and that would be it. So it'll be the kind of thing where at the beginning of the month, and it's going to start in April, at the beginning of the month, there will be probably a week or so pre-order where you can order that color. I'll show you the color and you can choose it if you want. We're going to do Frankfurt Fingering, Dubrovnik DK, and Warsaw Worsted. But anyway, yeah, subscribe to my newsletter and you'll see all that stuff. But it's really exciting for me. I just love it. The whole coming up with new ideas and building the business, it's just so much fun. And I love seeing what other businesses do and sometimes trying to go along that vein and sometimes saying that's not really what I want. I feel like a lot of yarn companies have too many colors. And you look at it and you go, I don't know, it's overwhelming. It's like going to the grocery store and trying to get like some ice cream. And there's 1,000,000 kinds. And it's just like, why am I beleaguered with all of these choices? And I wanted it to be simpler. And that's why I'm only doing the necklace in silver and gold. It's just simpler. And so I like that you can go and you can choose from a cast of 13 colors with a monthly variegated /speckle if you want. And I'll be having the cast of characters. That's what I should call it. I've been calling it the color collection. Maybe I'll call it the cast of characters. Available to on a rolling basis. So if you're interested in those, you can hop on over to the website and get that because like I said, everything goes together. All right, the Vesper sweater test is underway. My testers are working. They've been sending me pictures of, they're about this far into it and they look so good. You guys, they chose the best colors. Some people are doing different color stripes. Some people are doing like I did mine with, 2 colors just all throughout, but they just look so good. It's just such a fun knit. I'm really excited. That pattern will be available for free on, I think it's a Friday, April 21st. So you'll be able to get that then, and you'll be able to see what the testers made too, and that's really nice. We're working to get all that on Ravelry so that you can go there and see what it might look like in your size and get some color ideas, and that's going to be really, really fun. Let's see what else. Gigi and I went out yesterday and took pictures of the Gilded sweater. I'll put those up while I'm talking. We had a great time, as always. It was super windy, so my hair is like, but whatever, it's fine. The pictures came out so good. The light was really good. Gigi is a great photographer. She has such a good eye for the artistic shot. She gets the light really well. And they just came out really, really good. So the Gilded sweater is heading to the tech editor within the next probably 2 weeks. And then the test knit for the Gilded sweater is going to start in mid-April, probably. A lot of you have gone over to my website and signed up to be a test knitter. When you do that, I put your email in my spreadsheet, and then I will send an email out to every single person who's ever signed up, and it's a lot of people. It's like 200 people. So if you can't do this test knit, or you're not interested in this particular sweater, just delete it. I'm not interested in that one. You don't need to tell me, just delete it. And then if you are interested, respond and say, I want to test knit that, and I'll put you on the list. So if you're interested in test knitting for me, go over to the website and you can sign up there. So this sweater, the Gilded sweater, is a sport weight sweater, and it's knit out of my Athens alpaca sport weight yarn over on my website. And it's a 3-color sweater, and mine is knit out of Trinket and Frost and Beryl. But there are a lot of color combinations that would be amazing. I really want to get good combination ideas up on the website. It is hard to photograph, and that's been my sticking point. It's really hard to get pictures of yarn that accurately show the color of the yarn. And that's what's so great about getting all of them, is that you can see what colors you like together. But anyway, you only need, I'm pretty sure, I have not done the yarn calculations yet. The pattern is mostly written, but I'm at the very end where you do the yarn calculations. And you should not need more than 1 skein of color A and B, which in my sweater is the Trinket and the Beryl. So those 2 colors that you start the sweater with, you will probably only need 1 skein, I'm pretty sure. And then you might need a couple more for the body of the sweater, whatever color you pick there. So I think I used 2 skeins. So it's only a 4 skein-ish sweater, depending on your size. Obviously that'll be a little bit different, but yeah. So that's coming out. So it's a lot of stuff, you guys. It's a lot of stuff. I'm a busy lady, but life is good. Life is really good. I got my homeschooler schooling, and we're doing our yarn stuff, and it's all good. So I have not had a lot of time for knitting because I've been doing all this other stuff. I didn't even touch my Shasta sweater, which if you're not a regular watcher of the podcast, it's another design that I'm working on. I have been able to work on my Diggery Tea, and I'm in the middle of a row here, but basically I have knit the under the arms part, and it rolls so it looks like it's shorter than it actually is. But I'm working on the front right now, and like I said, I'm right in the middle of a row. But this is the Bosque colorway in Freetown Fingering, and you can really see how tonal, oh no, I wasn't in the middle of a row. My needle was just tucked in. Okay, you can really see, and this kind of wrinkles a little bit because it was stuffed into my knitting bag, but you can really see the variation over the yarn. And I switched to a second skein up here, and I don't really think you can tell too much. It looks pretty uniform. But this is just a nice, easy stockinette project that I have going in my little bucket bag from Susan. What was I going to say about that? This has been really fun. This is the Diggery Tea, another unfinished, unpublished knitting pattern. But I've got some ideas for that t-shirt about ways that you can customize it, because it's bottom up. We're going to get to a point where we've got live stitches here to join, and there's a couple different ways of doing that, and I thought it'd be nice to offer suggestions in the pattern for options. Like if you want a 3-needle bind off, if you want the kind of like looking like an exposed seam, you could have that. It doesn't really go down that low. It's only going to be like here to here. Or you could Kitchener the stitches so that there's no seam at all. There's different design choices that you can make there. And I'd like to include directions for not every possible way of joining live stitches, but a couple different ways. Yeah, so that's what I have been working on. When I say it all like that, it sounds like a lot. One thing that happened this week, this is kind of a random thing. Somebody bought from me a year ago or so my Modern Rainbow Socks yarn kit, and she said she'd been saving that project, so she couldn't locate the pattern. And she said, I'm pretty sure when I bought it, it came with the pattern, and I couldn't remember if it did or not, but I just sent her the pattern because I was like, you bought the yarn, here's the pattern. Anyway, but she said she went over on Ravelry, and Ravelry showed that the pattern was no longer available. And I went in, and on my end as the designer, I can see that the pattern had been edited, but the edit, like the person who had edited it said that I had accidentally chosen top-down sweater, and I should have said top-down sock. And so they were tweaking it, but when they went in there, they somehow said this pattern's no longer available. So I was unable to override that, but what I did was on Ravelry at the top, I put to go to my website to get the pattern. Because she was like, oh no, is the pattern gone? Like, can I not get it anymore? And I was like, no, you can totally get it. It's on my website. Everything on Ravelry links back to my website. But I went and checked, and none of my other patterns had disappeared. But if you ever see that, you know, that kind of thing can happen, I guess. I don't know. But it's good to know about it. I really appreciated her telling me about it because that way I could fix it. So that was really good. Okay, topic of the week. Okay, what I'm about to tell you is my own opinion based on my experience. I want to talk about fitness for knitters. Now, you might not think that you need a lot of fitness to be a knitter, but if you've ever done a lot of knitting, you know that repetitive stress injuries, especially in the elbow, can happen, and that is a real bummer. And I've thought many times about back when I was doing regular yoga a couple times a week, like hardcore hour-long yoga classes, I had no repetitive stress injuries. I had no pain in my arms. I had no pain in my shoulders. And I think it's because the weight, the exercises that have your hands bearing weight and also stretching, I think that those are really good for knitters. So if you're thinking, Devin, I either don't have time or have no interest or just plain am not going to go to a 1-hour yoga class a couple times a week, don't worry, you don't have to. I used to belong to the gym and I just don't anymore because I don't have time to go there and it costs the earth. So I'm like, I'm just gonna have to work out at home. And I don't really have a lot of time either to work out. So one thing that I do that really helps me is when I have time, I do push-ups. And before you think that you can't do push-ups, you need to know how bad I cheat on my push-ups. I am not talking about the Marines, okay, where their back is as straight as a board and they're on their toes and they're doing 50 of these push-ups and they look like perfection. That is not what I am referencing. I can't do that. I can do, girl push-ups on my knees, but after a while it'll bother my knees. Good grief. So what I do is whenever I am brewing coffee or making tea, which is a lot, I do it a lot. I probably have 4 cups of coffee in the morning and I drink a really obscene amount of tea. It's obscene. I probably have 5 cups of tea per day, like herb tea, caffeine-free tea, because it has no sugar in it. It has no calories. It's hot and I just like it and it makes me happy. So while I am brewing one of these things, I step back from the counter a little bit in my bare feet, because bare feet will stick to the floor. And I put my hands on the counter and I do as many push-ups as I can do while the coffee or tea is brewing. What? Oh, sure. Hold on just a sec. I'm doing a demonstration video while my water boils.
Push-ups don't work with a flowy skirt.
So, etc. Now, the closer you stand to the counter, the easier the push-ups are. So if you're just starting out, don't step back very far. The further you go back, the harder it is. So you can adjust it based on what you can do and what works for you. But you're getting load-bearing, weight-bearing exercises on your hands. And that is good for your arms, it's good for your back, it's good for your stress, it's good for everything. And you can do them whenever, and maybe you have something else that you do all the time in the day. I don't know. For me, it's making hot drinks, but whatever it is, think, I've got 30 seconds or 60 seconds here and there. I'm gonna do some push-ups. And also, like we talked about a couple podcasts back, the stretches, right? It's hard for me to show it, but because my arms are so long. But where you pull back and then you make a fist and you pull down, and just the shaking and the moving. Fitness for knitters is a real thing and we need to do it. I highly recommend that even if you are 75 years old and you walk kind of slow, even if that's you can do push-ups, because anybody can do counter push-ups. Just don't step back very far. And if you try it and you're like, well, this is too easy, then step back a little bit. Do it until it's just a little bit hard and you can do 10 of them in a row. It will help. It will help. And you're going to feel like a rock star because you did push-ups. And then when you talk to your grandchildren, you can be like, yep, I worked out today. They'll be like, wow, you did? You'd be like, no repetitive stress injuries for me. Another thing that's really good is, if you like yoga, is the sun salutation. It is super easy. You can Google sun salutation. All it is it's the stretch, side and the side, and then you bend forward and you go down and you do a push-up, and then you come up and you stretch, and then you come up again, and it's just super easy. And you can do that pretty quick too. It's a little more hardcore than counter push-ups, but I don't know, I've gotten pretty weak over the years. So I do it kind of, weak. But whatever, we start where we start, right? I mean, if you do this for 10 minutes a day, and I don't even mean 10 consecutive minutes, but 1 minute at a time, 10 times in a day, that's strength building up, and it's not getting hurt building up. It's good stuff. I'm just saying. Okay, knitting fantasies. I wanted to do some more t-shirts, and so I went over to Etsy and I Googled Knitted Tea knitting pattern, and I came across the Cloud Gazer Tee by Sandmade Knits over on Etsy. This is a really cute t-shirt. It's in kind of a bubble pattern while you are fading a couple colors together. It is DK weight. You're gonna fade through 5 colors plus a contrast color, which is that edging. So depending on your size, I mean, you could probably use scraps for this. She says in the pattern, it's a good stash buster because you're not even using a full skein of each color. And it comes in 9 sizes. So no matter what size you are, probably this sweater will fit you. So as I was looking for more t-shirts, I came across this super cute pattern. This is the Del Rey Peplum by Gorilla Knits. It comes in 5 sizes, and I could not find the yarn weight. Isn't that weird to write a knitting pattern and then not include the yarn weight, like before you buy the pattern? So I guess if you want to know what yarn weight this is, you're gonna have to buy the pattern. You can't even tell by looking at it. You really can't, because a lot of times I'll look at something and go, oh, surely that's fingering weight. Nope, worsted. Like sometimes it's just really hard to tell. If I had to guess, I would say fingering weight or maybe DK. It's really cute though. I love that kind of pleated peplum look. Looks really, really, really pretty. And my third pattern is by Tammy Gore, who is Narrow Path Knit Design over on Etsy. It is the Speckles and Spice top. And this top is really, really cute, but for some reason, all of her pictures are half of the sweater. I didn't look it up on Ravelry. I just looked it up on Etsy. I kind of like to see the whole sweater in a picture, but it's really, really pretty. Great motifs, beautiful colors, comes in 9 sizes, and it is also DK, and she recommends 4 colors. So, couple of spring/summer knits in case you are interested in one of those. All right, moving right along to the comments section. Tara T, hi Tara. Tara said, I appreciate your words on mending. We really do dispose of things too quickly in our society. I was sad when I replaced the iPhone I'd had for 7+ years. I wish things were designed to easily repair them instead of just throwing them away and buying new. I also wished we treated other people with the care we put into our knitting and nice wool. Amen, sister. Humans and human relationships are not disposable. How much better would our families and society be if we didn't treat people as disposable and we actually tried to mend relationships and communities? Amen, sister. I completely agree with every single thing that you said there. Very true. Andrea K said, a good t-shirt pattern for beginners is by Stacy of Very Pink Knits. It is called the Learn to Knit a Woman's Sweater. It was the very first garment I ever knit. It is a short sleeve sweater / t-shirt. And the best part is that she has YouTube videos to go with the pattern, so it really feels like you have somebody guiding you as you go. That is awesome. That is a great suggestion for somebody who has never knit a sweater before. If you're a very new sweater knitter and you want something that they walk you through, this is by Stacy of Very Pink Knits. She has her own website, probably verypinkknits.com if I had to guess. And it is the Learn to Knit a Woman's Sweater. Okay, so last week I told you about my friend Siobhan and her James sweater. Hi, Siobhan. And it's funny because we've been emailing about that since then. And Siobhan left a comment saying, I don't know who was more excited about the shout out, me or my kids. They kept asking if you could see me, and that's why you said hi. I ran straight upstairs and grabbed my James sweater. It only has 1 hole, so I'm going to try mending it over the next few days. Thank you for walking us through how to do it. And girl, you look fabulous. That is so, so funny. Kids are so that way. They're like, how do they know you're watching? That is so cool. So I am wearing my Audrey sweater today. I've got it over this dress, and you can see the fix right here because the camera shows it. It kind of has a slightly different, it's a little bit raised right there, but there's no hole. Yeah, you can tell that it's there, but I don't mind it. It's not obvious, it's not glaring, but if I, pulled on it, you'd be like, oh yeah, there's a fix there. But that's okay. That gives it character. That shows that I love it and I'm taking care of it and I want it to last a really, really long time. And this is Madeline Tosh yarn. Like, it's special. I love it. This was back before I had my own yarn. But anyway, I also felt kind of bad, Siobhan, because I felt like I was like, why doesn't Siobhan fix the sweater? And that's totally not what I was saying at all. And, it's easy to look at something and go, I want to fix that, but I have no idea how. And I got a lot of comments about the fix that I did last week. And some people said, I've never seen that. And Sharon left me this comment. She said, I've never seen that mending method. I will try it sometime. I recently mended a hole that only affected one row, kind of like mine. She said, I put a DPN in a few stitches in the row above and another in a few stitches in the row below, unraveled a few stitches on either side so that I could weave those ends in, and then Kitchenered the stitches together. That's even better. I love that. I'm going to try that next. Genius, Sharon. That is such a good idea. I feel like now, the only thing about that is that you need to know where the rest of the yarn is. And I do not. I could look and I might find it. I'm sure there's a ball of it somewhere of leftover from the sweater, but that is a great solution if you have the yarn or one that's really close. But if you don't have the yarn, the fix that I did last week, I think it's great. Basically, you're creating like a woven patch on the back side with thread. And the thread goes through the wool in such a way that it makes a very strong mend. It's also made out of polyester, which is a very strong material. So yeah, okay. All right. Krista Roy, she had the best comment. Do you remember when I talked last week about my bathrobe that I've had since we got married, and I'm not going to let this thing die? My mother-in-law is like, are you really still hanging on to that? Because she's the one who gave it to me. I'm like, I just can't let it die. Like, it's just a really nice bathrobe. Krista says, oh my word, I can't believe you mentioned the terry cloth bathrobe. You and I are the same age, and we were married the same year. The first year my husband and I were married, my mother-in-law bought me a blue terry cloth robe. I love it, and I still wear it after every shower. Me too. It is faded, close to threadbare, and has some small holes. A few years ago, I figured it was time to replace it, but I couldn't find the same robe, so back to my old one. I, too, am trying to figure out just how long this comfy, raggedy bathrobe will last. That is so funny. What crazy synchronicity. I love it. So here's what you should do, Krista. This is my recommendation. Sew up the holes and dye it. Go to like Michael's or Hobby Lobby and get some RIT all-purpose dye and dye it in like, back before I had a dye studio, if I had to dye something, I would use one of those 5-gallon buckets from Home Depot. Get a 5-gallon bucket and dye that puppy. If it's blue, dye it like a dark blue or a black or something darker than what it is. And you could even do, like, what if you did a pink? It'd probably end up purple. I don't know. You don't know what you'd get in that situation. But if you're trying to cling to it, I support you, girlfriend. I think that you should cling to it as long as you can and make that thing look good. I would love to see you. Send me a before and after picture if you're so inclined. Okay. Chris Goudot says, hi, Devin. I really enjoy your podcasts. I usually learn something new and you don't take everything so seriously. That is true. I take very few things seriously. I have 2 comments on your mending. First, many years ago, when I was a newbie knitter, I was taking a class with a mother and daughter. They were teaching how to weave in your ends without them showing on the front side. They said to weave your ends through the stitches and not under them, and you won't be able to see them no matter what the color of yarn is. Totally true, because it's on the back side, exactly. She says, I've been doing this for years. Second, I have a pair of socks that are 6 years old. I never put them in the washer or dryer, and they're always soaked and hung to dry. So while drying, I noticed a hole in one of them, and it was on the back of the leg. How could that happen? I did mend them, so we'll see how long they last. That is so odd. I didn't think of bugs because we don't have moths. I don't either. What do silverfish look like? Thanks for sharing these tips. Also, love the 2-color stranded and 2 slip stitches. Makes so much sense. That's about the Shasta sweater that we talked about last week. So silverfish are kind of these flat, silvery, multi-legged things. And they like water. So, you might see them in a bathroom or by a drain. And like I said, we don't have very many. Like every now and then I'll see one. Like there'll be a season. You know how there's like a season for a certain bug? Oh, it's ant season, or it's silverfish season, or it's ladybug or stink bug season. In Virginia, we get all those seasons. So, we see them here and there. But I think they can eat a hole in things. So I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Because, this is just not a stress point in the sweater. It doesn't make sense. So, all right. Moving along to, so here's what happened. I am very, very happy to tell you that I have a story to share with you today. So, on Instagram, this lady messages me and says, Devin, I have a newspaper article I want to send to you. Send me your address. And so I had a dilemma because I'm thinking, I probably just shouldn't send random people my address over Instagram. It just felt weird. And so I thought about it. I thought I could send this lady my P.O. box. Like when you get packages from me, it has my P.O. box on there. But I never check my P.O. box. If you ever want to send me something, just ask me for my address and I'll get it to you. But I really thought, I looked at her page and I thought she's probably a normal knitter, right? So I was like, I'm going to send her my address. So I did, gave her my address, and she sent me a newspaper article, and it is amazing. I'm just going to read from you to you from this card that she wrote to me. It's great. Dear Devin, hi. My name is Anna Marie Riley, and I live in Whiting, New Jersey. I love your podcast because you're so down to earth, warm, friendly, and you're a knitter like me. I am 73 years old and I have been knitting for over 65 years. I have just finished a year of knitting 100 pairs of socks. Wow, that is crazy. For friends, family members, and soldiers. In Sunday's newspaper, this article was a feature, and the topic is Loose Ends. They died, leaving labors of love undone, and strangers completed their work. I found this very interesting, and I hope you and your followers do too. I found it to be a very kind and Christian thing to do. What better way to continue the lifeline of those who have passed? I hope you enjoy this article. And so she sent me an actual article from the paper, like it was 1985. I was like, oh, it's actual paper. But listen to it. It's so good. So this lovely lady is a finisher. The article is called What She Said in the Thing, Loose Ends. They died leaving labors of love undone and strangers completed their work. Here's the story. Karen Sturgis was knitting 5 baby sweaters, one for each grandchild's future baby, when she was suddenly diagnosed with lymphoma. She did not have much longer to live. As she dealt with the devastation of the diagnosis, one thing kept coming up. The thing that she was most worried about was finishing the sweaters, said her daughter, Annie Gatewood, 53. She was just distraught that she didn't think she was going to be able to finish. Don't you completely get that as a knitter? We completely get that. Sturgis worked on them until 4 days before she died in 2021. Gatewood and her sister held on to the 2 remaining unfinished sweaters, not sure what they would do because neither one of them knew how to knit. Then in the late summer of 2022, Gatewood, who lives in Maine, was matched with a finisher in Portland named Sarah DeDuz, now one of more than 1,000 volunteers who complete unfinished fiber arts projects for grieving loved ones through a group called Loose Ends. Sarah DeDuz finished knitting the 2 tiny sweaters and then handed them off to Gatewood in late October. The 2 met at DeDuz home in Portland, and this is her. I saw her and I burst into tears because she looks like my mom, Gatewood said, explaining their similar look and manner and that they were both of Danish descent. The sweaters, soft white acrylic wool with little owls across the front, were expertly knitted. We know for sure my mom would have been just delighted, Gatewood said. A lifetime knitter, DeDuz, who's 86, said she took on the project because she understood the importance of it. Because of my age, I feel more closely involved in how a family would feel. I can sort of put myself on the other side, she said. I couldn't help but think about how I would feel if I couldn't finish a project and someone was willing to take it over. Yes. In fact, those sweaters inspired DeDuz to start her own project for future great-grandchildren. I just feel comfortable now knowing that if I can't finish it, someone else will. The growing roster of Loose Ends volunteers is made up of crafters from around the world with diverse fiber art skills ranging from quilting to amigurumi. It was started in September by friends Macy Kaplan and Jen Simonek, who like to call themselves matchmakers. Kaplan, 53, of Falmouth, Maine, and Simonek, 52, of Seattle, are avid knitters and know firsthand what it's like to have friends reach out about finishing a pair of mittens or a scarf or some other handmade item left behind by deceased loved ones. And they know firsthand just how much time and care it will take to complete. So this is them right here. And that caption says, Macy Kaplan and Jen Simonek knit together. They're dedicated to pairing unfinished projects with volunteer crafters from around the world. And this is a picture of Karen Sturgis, works on baby sweaters in her home in May 2021, a month before she died. Making something with your hands for someone is an expression of love, said Kaplan. And when I finish things and give them to people, I want them to know that I love them and I was making this especially for them. I want them to feel that. It is that feeling that drove the longtime friends to create the Loose Ends website and put out a call for volunteers and unfinished projects. The projects must be left behind by a loved one who is deceased or unable to complete the handwork due to illness or disability. There's no payment to have a project completed. The only cost is postage, though with more and more volunteers joining, Kaplan and Simonek are often able to make local matches, so postage is not even necessary. We're connecting projects to a stranger who feels the same way, who will complete that gesture of love for another stranger, said Kaplan, so that the person who is grieving will get to experience that feeling that we as crafters know is so important. Volunteer finishers are in 23 countries and counting. They represent a wide range of ages, religions, nationalities, and political affiliations. The common thread, according to Kaplan and Simonek, is empathy and extreme generosity. We all experience pain and we all experience grief, said Simonek. You don't know what someone's going through on a day-to-day basis that's going to make them give up. But I do know that these little acts of kindness make people realize there are people out there willing to help. It's a hurting and divided world, said Kaplan, and this is a tiny way to start to mend it. Isn't that so beautiful? So if you're interested in becoming a finisher, and this lady right here said how much she loved that title of finisher, like it made her feel like a superhero, like I'm a finisher. If you're interested, go check out their website. Google Loose Ends and check them out. It sounds like an amazing ministry to finish people's projects, people who couldn't finish their projects. I would love that. Wouldn't you love that? Gosh, that's such a great idea. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for sending me that. I just loved it. It was so great to get actual mail. Like, I just felt like it was awesome. I'm so glad that I took a chance on you and you weren't like a serial killer. No, just kidding. But thank you so, so much for seeing it and sending it to me so that I could share it, because that's a great story. If you have a knitting story, send it to me, Devin at KnittyMcPurly.com, Devin with an I. Thank you for joining me. I will see you again next week. Bye, guys.